It's Wednesday night, and that means it's time for the Lamar Thomas Show, featuring the greatest receiver in the history of college football. Just ask him, Lamar Thomas.
I was born in Ocala, Florida. I moved to Gainesville to go to high school. Been recruited probably since the 9th grade, illegally, I might add, by the University of Florida. I still can remember Coach Solinger, Don Solinger, coming out to our practice one day. Here it is, this guy comes out in the University of Miami jacket, and I said, I can't believe that's Miami out here. And, you know, I wanted to go up and say, hey, I'm Lamar Thomas. And actually, I did walk up to him and I said, hey, Coach, I'm Lamar Thomas. And he said, I know. And that was the start of my relationship with the University of Miami.
Another good block, and Toretto lays it out. Touchdown, Miami.
You come down here, you'll be on TV every weekend, dominating. I thought about it. I said, man, where do I sign? My mom, on Saturday mornings, I would wake up and she'd be holding my hand. I thought she was the weirdest lady in the world. But she was holding my hands and she would be rubbing them and saying, one day these hands are gonna make you a lot of money. She was smart.
So now, here he is, the great one, along with co-host Gary Ferman of CaneSport.com, Lamar Thomas.
What's going on, Mr. Thomas?
Gary. I mean, I'm very happy to be here, Gary, but Jesus Christmas, boy. What did we see on Friday night, Gary? Holy boy.
It was the perfect storm. I mean, it was, you know, Louisville coming down on a mission to beat the number 2 team in the country. It was Miami just showing up. And, you know, I felt like I noticed it in the pregame warmups. I didn't see a lot of intensity out there. I saw a lot of clowning around in various ways. And, you know, I went up to the press box. And I told my guys, man, it just like there's no intensity. It just doesn't feel right. And, you know, the way that we saw the team show up for Notre Dame and Florida State, and you can make all kinds of excuses, you know, succession of big games, hard to get up every week. Some people will call it rat poison, or maybe it was just a combination of everything. But whatever it was, LT, it was a night that did not work out very well for the Miami Hurricanes. And now they're scrambling a little bit as they go into the second part of the season. But at the end of the day, it's just a mulligan at this point, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But first, let's welcome everybody to another week of the Lamar Thomas Show, presented by Caneswear. You see LT, he's live inside the Caneswear store tonight, so you'll be getting all kinds of previews on all of the exciting, and I love the camo gear from Adidas this year. Wow. You'll be getting a lot of previews on some of the great merchandise that's available at Caneswear. They're at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, about 15 minutes north of Hard Rock Stadium. So if you're going to the Stanford game on Saturday evening, you could stop by at Caneswear in the afternoon, load up on some Cane stuff, and you'll be happy. They got a pretty darn good selection. But we're going to be joined later in the show by Steve Walsh. Looking forward to that because there's nobody that can be more equipped. And there's others, obviously, but to explain to us what we saw on Friday night from Carson Beck. You know, it's like, you know, some people are saying, LT, that it was the Carson Beck from the University of Georgia. But, like, I don't remember him having a game like that at Georgia even. It was crazy. So much for us to unwrap tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot. And I can tell you this, man. It was like you said, it was a weird type situation. Um, you know, the warm up, you're looking in the stands, no one was really there because it's a Friday. And the traffic is crazy getting to that stadium. I mean, it just felt weird. I think I thought I saw, and I think you confirmed it to me. Yeah, someone. Yes, I was protecting the logo. We'll talk about that a little later. I was not gonna let it happen, dog. No way. But I thought I saw DJ Khaled out there running in warmups. What the hell going on, man? We done got that Holly. Oh, there you go.
I was shocked.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
Like I saw him down on the sideline, people were taking pictures, whatever. That was all cool. Right. But then the team comes out for pregame warmups. Yeah. He's running sprints with the team.
I mean, that's not the reason we lost, but it was just weird. Okay. And then you look at the stands back there.
There's nobody there.
Nobody there. It was very interesting. It filled up somewhat. And I appreciate all the people who came and on Friday, work day. But man, it was like a weird type of environment. And like you said, the juice was down on the other end because they came down. They looked like they practiced for however they had off week. They practiced to beat the number 2 ranked team in the country. It didn't care if there was an NFL team or not. They didn't care. Whatever they were going to put all in because remember, Gary, they had already had a loss. So one more loss to them is it's just in regular season. So they had to put everything into preparing. And Jeff Brom and I, one of the things we talked about last week, Jeff Brom, myself being in the offense with him, and we dig into this a little bit, I can tell you a little bit about what I thought he was able to do to the University of Miami's defense. But he's always done this. I mean, upsetting Ohio State at Purdue. He's always been able to put those games together against great competition and bring them down to a level where he can defeat them. And this ain't the first time. They've done this. No. He's done this. He's done it a couple of teams. So kudos to them, man. I got to give it up. I mean, because they made some hella defensive plays all over the place, some great interceptions. But they seem like they were more ready. But I as we dig into it, I will say the defense kind of settled in a little bit. But 14-0, man. You're down 14-0 at home in front of a national audience. The stress level goes up a little bit. You start pushing a little bit. You start stressing a little bit. You start overlooking the guys standing in the flat a little bit because you're trying to make plays. Some Heisman Trophy guys were out there. Not after the game. Not after the game, Gary.
You worked for a few years for a guy that has the offensive coaching acumen to do what Jeff Brom is capable of doing. And, tell us a little bit like what happens in a big game situation like that. And, Brom talked about how he loves the big game. He loves the grind of putting together a game plan that's going to drive a better football team than what he has crazy and give himself a chance to win. But what does that mean, LT, for those of us out here that aren't in the room?
Well, I can tell you this. In that offensive room, where the two places I was with those guys, in West Kentucky and Louisville, there are no windows. There are no windows. My dad came to visit one time. He was amazed. It is plays, it is formations and plays on there's no empty spot. It's formations everywhere. Everywhere. There are formations with blitzes and all kind of stuff on everybody has their job to do to prepare for the game. Every coach has their formation and they're looking at it all during the week. And we're trying to get the percentages. We're going first down, second down. We're going third down. Then we're going third down blitzes. And we're writing down all this stuff and we're putting it up on the board. You have your own, like I had Trey, I think. and it's Trey. I got Trey. I mean, I'm working on this. Hey, by the way, Friday nights before the game, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing the next game. I'm drawing up all this stuff, and they got to be done. So you have all this stuff. You're sitting there. You're trying to compile all this information that you have, and I'm sure everybody does this. But for these guys, man, they start off by they want to move you around a little bit. They want to watch you squirm a little bit. They want to put you in situations, see what your checks are, and see how your personnel to certain formations and stuff like that. I mean, let's talk about this first drive here. I mean, they had 3 quarterbacks on the field, and Jaleel Skinner.
Jaleel Skinner, yeah.
I mean, I think
He
that was
lined
a
up a
shot
quarterback.
I think that was a shot at Miami. Don't you think? That was a nice little shot at Miami right there. I don't know what happened. I remember the kid being here, but he left. I mean, nothing complicated. They just wanted to see how you lined up. I mean, you know, they basically wanted to see how the D was going to line up, give them something to talk about, okay?
Different formations.
Different play. Second play, they shift the Wildcat. Again, give them something to think about, right? So empty and shift to base formation, run base play. Wide receivers in the backfield, Chris Bell in the slot. All basic plays, but personnel all over the field. Formations into the boundary. They're saying they want to see how you line up and what your checks are, the formation in the boundary. Now, this is all the first series. These are things that we sit in that room and they're talking about. And of course, Jeff Brom, Bobby Petrino, they have the last word. They say, hey, this is what we want to see how they line up to formation into the boundary, see what their checks are. On that first drive, we want to see what the D does for all those type of formations. I mean, and they're just moving you around. They just want to see. I mean, the Wildcat, empty, formation, boundaries, personnel, alignments. And it's all in the first series, man. It's all on the first series.
Get brains spinning.
And when you get to the sideline, it becomes a teaching session. Because now guys are like a little confused, like, what the hell did we just see? They just drove it down our throat. I mean,
yeah, nothing worse than that. Nothing worse than all that happening that you just described, and it also ending in a touchdown.
And ending wait. Now you got to. They showed, and I think what Louisville showed those guys that were on that team. We came here to win. We're going to go for it on a damn fake field goal.
Yes.
So you're showing those guys on your team, we ain't come here to we ain't come here to tittle tattle. We came here to try to beat the number 2 ranked team in the country. And we're going to show you, hey, man, we're going to do it at all costs. We're going to line you up and do all this crazy stuff and see 3 quarterbacks. Hey, 3 quarterbacks out there in Wildcat. I mean, they were doing all kind of stuff to see what the checks were. I mean, they came to win. They didn't come to mess around. And they were able to pull it out. Now, they got ahead, and I say our defense settled in. But, man, we missed a lot of tackles. And I think, you know, the lack of running game, that game plan they had to stop our running game, I mean, we just ran it. We just ran it up the middle. We just said, hey, we're bigger, we're better. Yeah, we're supposed to be, but guess what? If they're stacking the box, I mean, they're putting so many guys in the A-gap, they're doing all this stuff. Where were the outside zones and where were the sweeps? I mean, we can say the bubbles or those quick screens that's what they were doing instead. But hey, man, I would love to see Jordan Love get outside and run something like that, right? The touchdown we scored, wasn't that Malachi Tony running a reverse out, a jet sweep?
Yeah.
I mean, Louisville was saying, you're not going to run up the middle.
They were taking away the middle of the field.
You're the bully. You're the bully. And we're not going to let you bully us. So we're going to shut this down. And then in the passing game, oh, man, you know what we're going to do? We're going to get you behind the sticks. So we know you want to run the ball. We're going to get you behind the sticks. And then we're going to drop people. We're going to interchange people to drop. We're going to confuse Carson Beck. And then we're going we're only gonna rush 3 people and drop everybody else and say, hey, throw it to the flat. And he did one time, but other times he tried to force it. Wasn't good.
Yeah, I mean, I got a picture here of that I'll show you. Like
there you go.
They literally had guys down the middle of the field. You see where the 2 linebackers are here on this play, and you see where Carson's eyes are. They're down the middle.
That was Gary. They call that Tampa 2. That's what Derek Brooks made in Tampa. They made famous. They had that linebacker. He drops all the way. It basically becomes a cover 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Beck saw the other safety. Now Malachi Tony, he outran 2 guys and kind of split them. And it might have been a little pass interference, but we're not going to complain about that. The defensive back, made a hell of a grab. But those 2 guys, like you're showing, are wide open. Take that. Because
I mean, that picture tells the story of the whole night right there to me.
Yes.
Because those plays were there. And the thing that, and you can help me with this, I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, like, why isn't somebody up in the box? Like, Shannon Dawson, he's down on the sideline.
Right.
And he's watching from there. You're not seeing everything from the sideline. It's hard to see everything from the sideline. But, I'm thinking to myself, like, who is up in the box saying, Shannon, they're not covering the flats. We got to go to the flats. They're not covering the flats. And then how is that not getting communicated? Carson Beck, they got the microphones now in his ear. Carson, you got to throw to the flats. This, to me, was the fail of the night from Miami, an inability to make adjustments to what Louisville was doing. And, unfortunately, this is something that we've seen a few games a year for the last several years. And, everybody knows I am a huge fan of what I see Mario Cristobal doing here. He, in my mind, unquestionably is the right guy to come take on this project. But he's got to figure out, because this is a pattern now, and he's got to figure out, like, what can he do differently to change this narrative that comes into play every year, where they're losing a couple games that they maybe don't have to lose. They're not getting beat by Ohio State. And Mario went to Columbus with his Oregon team and beat Ohio State. But my point is that, like, you look at Syracuse last year. I'll give Georgia Tech the game in Atlanta. They played a great game. They beat the crap out of them. Fine. Miami shouldn't have lost that Syracuse game at the end of the year. They shouldn't have lost this Louisville game. And, it's this is what Mario has to figure out. I mean, this is what is holding him back. This is what has to stop happening. But, so to me, the question I'll ask you is in-game adjustments. You've been there. You've had to make them. What's breaking down from what you can see? What could have been done differently down there on Friday night that maybe would have solved some of these problems early in the game, so that they're not a factor as you get into the second and third and eventually the fourth quarters?
I mean, on what side of the ball?
Well, I'm talking offense right now. I mean, the defense, I thought, settled down. I mean,
they settled in.
Louisville helped them a little bit and stumbled and bumbled a little bit, but they did settle down after those first 14 points.
I mean, on offense, I think we helped them too, because we had some penalties. We got behind the sticks, man. I think what Louisville wanted to do was get us behind the sticks, and then force Carson Beck to throw the football. They wanted to force him to throw the football, and that's what they were able to do. And what did we do? We threw a lot of screen passes. Now, I as a receiver, I got to be honest with you. I've never been a big fan of screen passes, because
you're talking about the bubble screens,
the bubbles or whatever the hell they are. I've never been a fan of, because one, you're asking our guys to block, and we're here to catch passes. So you telling me to block for somebody? I don't know about that. You know what I mean? So I've never been a true fan. And even as a coach, man, I'm trying to teach these guys, okay, guys, you got to go there, stud them up. And I tell you what, Louisville did a hell of a job. Once they knew what was going on, they made our wide receivers, man, it became a stalemate a lot of times. Tony had a catch one or two times, and he got hit as soon as he caught it. I know number 7 one time had a block. I mean, they did a good job of bullying, trying to
They were
bully our
being
wide
physical
receivers.
as hell.
They were
Yeah.
being very physical out there, and that forced the runner to be indecisive. And all you need is those guys, once they're indecisive, those D linemen, those linebackers, they are coming, and they ain't stopping until they hit somebody. So, I mean, what they were able to do, I think, I mean, man, it's just so much that they could have done, but they didn't do. And when I say this, I'm talking about, I mean, I've seen this. Miami runs a lot of, let's see, they don't really put a lot of stress on the secondary. And what I mean by that, they do a lot of max protection stuff and only 3-man routes. You know, hey, I thought the air raid, spreading everybody out, So it becomes a cleaner picture for you. But we do a lot of close stuff, which, yeah, it works and it has worked. But I would love to see guys spread out so the quarterback can get a better picture of what's going on, who's coming and who's not. And as he, gets that ball, now he kind of see things a lot clearer because you can see it. Those guys can't line up in the A gap if people are spread out. And you don't know what they're doing. They got to go. They got to run to their spots. I think they were able to dictate to us.
Yes, with physicality.
Yes, with physicality, and
and intensity.
I would have never thought going into that game that they were going to out physical our O-line. And I don't know. I mean, it was like we just couldn't get no push. We couldn't get that push, that we couldn't get it going. And we kept trying and trying and trying. And it was like, okay, well, what do we do now? Let's throw these. We tried to throw it downfield. Okay, some interceptions. So let's keep it a little safe. Let's run some screens. Well, Louisville said, we got something for you. You're going to throw these screens. It's I don't know.
But how do you explain that, LT? Let's think about this for a minute. You have an O-line that's playing bully ball.
Yes.
The first 5 weeks of the season.
Mm-hmm.
They're smacking people in the head.
Smacking people, yes.
I mean, we're calling it the Miami tush push. Mm-hmm. They're pushing for extra yards. People are saying this is one of the best offensive lines in the country. And this is Mario's calling card, and it's Alex Beerball's calling card. A big, physical, SEC-looking offensive line. Okay, how does that break down Friday night? How does that not show up on Friday night?
I mean, they were doing some things. They were doing some late shifting too. That could give you some problems. But I mean, for the most part, man, they wanted to make sure and they understood that what we wanted to do, our philosophy, to me, is to try to run it, bully ball it down your throat, and open up things on the outside and maybe some play action and things like that. So they just said, we're going to take it away from you, and then on third down, we're gonna drop. We're gonna drop people. Every now and then we're gonna bring a blitz, but we're gonna replace him. They did a lot of replacing. Like they bring a guy here, but there was a guy going back over there. They dropped and interchanged. They did a lot of different stuff that, you know what? They put all their eggs in this one basket. They showed Miami some things that made Carson Beck very uncomfortable and maybe even made our OC uncomfortable. Because I mean, we just didn't look like the same. We've said so many weeks we've been able to play 3 great quarters in a lot of these games, right? Well, I didn't see the great quarter. I didn't see. I mean, obviously at the end we were able to do some things because we were able to run some outside stuff, some sweeps. Maybe that opened up stuff. I don't know, but it looked like we had momentum too, but it just looked like an entirely different team once we got the turnover, and there was a little sense of urgency and, things like that. And, we'll get into the last interception later on in the show. But I mean, they took it to us, man. That's the best way I can. I mean, I got so many notes on so many things that happened, but they just took it to us. And they took it to the number 2 ranked team in the country, and they walked away with a win. And it was almost like they had been planning for this for the whole year.
Yeah.
Because you got to understand, and remember, Gary, Louisville loves to recruit South Florida. And I really believe they put a lot more emphasis on it. And I've been there because we want to keep stay relevant in South Florida. They want to be relevant in South Florida. They want to at least play a good game in South Florida. They want to win. They want to win because now they were able to go in and say, hey, remember we had Teddy Bridgewater and those guys. And remember we got Lamar Jackson. And remember we were able to knock off the number 2 ranked team in the country. I mean, and it was very upsetting. And I'm not, you can hear it in my voice, the disappointment, because I wanted us to win this game. I wanted us to win that game so bad. I mean, obviously I wanted to win because I got friends over there that still coach there, and I spent 30 minutes myself talking to those guys before the game, just asking them how their family was doing. They were asking me the same thing. But talking to Jeff Brown just before the game, I knew he had some special stuff, and I was asking him, I said, what you gonna do, man? He started smiling. I said, man, I know you, man. I know you. And you could tell this game really meant something to him being on a national setting. And Louisville better be very lucky that they have a guy like that who loves being there. Because, you just upset the number 2 ranked team, writing his name and stuff. He don't want to leave. That's his hometown.
Right.
He wants to stay there. He loves it there. He made it back there. So, Miami, our guys, we got to figure it out. And it's not really a panic time, but it is because we can't lose any more games.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if we're honest, the warning signals were there earlier.
Yeah,
I mean, you look at the way all those games got close in the second half, and we're hanging on for victories. And the fourth quarter at Florida State, the way that went, there were warning signals, but they were able to just keep winning and pulling it out. And winning kind of sometimes maybe keeps you from sounding alarms.
Yes.
That maybe you should have sounded a little stronger.
Winning covers a lot, and because when you lose, now you're reading. Let these guys play. The JoJo kid play. Let all these guys play. Who
it's a shit show.
When we talk about that type of stuff, as a coach, I got to tell you again, and I said this last week. If I don't trust you, I can't put you in there, man. I got to go with the guys I trust. I have to, because I get what you guys are saying, their local talent and all that stuff. But hey, if he hasn't shown to those coaches that he deserves to be in there, hey man, you getting, I don't know how much you're getting. I'm just throwing it out there. I think you're getting more than 200,000. Okay, whatever. Or maybe 100,000. I don't know what he's getting, but you're getting that type of money. So you have to. You're now a professional, even though you're a kid. You're a professional. I mean, I'm not trying to go at him, but I read the comments and people saying let him play. Well, if he has shown that he can't, and he was a starter, I guess, before the season until the little arrest happened. I won't call it little, but the arrest happened. So now you're in the doghouse, and now you have to show yourself. You can't be the same guy you were before. You got to make it back. You got to do things more. Now, obviously, my opinion, it's just my opinion, he obviously hadn't done enough to get back on the field, and he needs to continue. But in today's society, unfortunately, as a coach, you can't even yell at a guy, because if you yell at him, now they want to leave. You can't even get on them because they're making X amount of dollars, sometimes more than the damn coach. You can't even not play him because now they want to leave. And it is what it is, man. You got Joshua Moore out there. Yeah, I would have loved to see him in the game, but obviously, for some reason, those coaches don't trust him. They don't trust him right now. I know Beard's going to play the best man for his job.
No doubt.
He's also going to play the best man that his coordinator says he can put in there.
Right.
There's also a head coach that's going to say, I don't know if I want that guy in there. They have to show. When you're in the doghouse, I was in the doghouse at one point, and I had to show. You got to show, man. You got to show that you You're going to burn the midnight oil. You're going to be there early on time. You're going to show up there all the time. You're going to let them forget about the previous stuff. You have to. That's the only way you're going to get on the field. And I get, I get it. He's a local kid. I went at Chaminade with Damon Jones. I mean, they got a great program over there. They got the Jeremiah Smith guy. He's good friends. I get it. And he was a bad boy. I went and watched him play. He's a bad boy. But if they don't trust you, man, how can you put them out there?
Yeah.
How can you? I mean,
I know.
And
then he's embarrassed. He's in bed now. He's embarrassed.
Yeah, I mean, when you're losing though, these things show up like a pimple on your face, man.
Yes.
You can't get rid of it, man. It all, you look good until the lights come on, and the lights came on. You got a big old zit in the middle of your forehead. That's what I look at.
I'm sure Mario's sitting there saying, "How did I let this?" I mean, I'm sure he's killing himself. I mean, it's like, how did I let my team show up so uninvested, unready to be physical? I mean, it was so noticeable. I mean, somebody could try to deny it. I mean, come on, man. The O-line's not blocking anybody. They can't run the football. The defense, which had been talking the entire year about swarming to the football, there wasn't a lot of swarming to the football. Nothing like what we saw earlier in the season. They just, they weren't ready to play. And LT, it's like, they were talking about rat poison, which, Nick Saban is a big believer in that. He talks about it constantly, that teams don't perform when they start thinking that they're really good and everybody's telling them that they're really good. The teams naturally suffer a letdown. And when game day was down here, he even talked to Mario about that. How do you avoid the rat poison? How do you get through this thing, without that type of mindset seeping into your program? And man, it's almost like, I don't know, whether rat poison is an excuse now that it happened on Friday night, but I mean, there was something at play there. I mean, it was a perfect storm of everything going bad, not being able to run, the quarterback playing as bad a game of quarterbacking as you'll ever see. And I can't wait to talk to Steve Walsh about it. Maybe he can explain it better. The defense, being on its heels and getting into a 14-0 hole, it's on and on and on, et cetera. I just, how does that happen? Like, how is there such an unevenness in performance between you got things going well and you're winning, and then you show up and play a game like that?
Well, there's a lot of things that are going on, Gary. You brought up before we got on the air, we talked about, as I read, Mike Kane said, sometimes the coaches drink the rat poison too. You got to work. You got to. Okay, for example, those guys are out recruiting. They got to go out recruiting. You got to stay up. I mean, there's a lot of things that are going on, and they see that they feeling some type of way, like, oh, okay, Miami, man, yeah, and you walking around with your chest pumped up, but there's a lot that goes into and I got to tell you, I'm looking back on our career, and we against Arizona, we almost got beat at home. The streak almost ended over Arizona, and they were a good team, and we were undefeated. So there could have been some looking ahead and thinking that, they punched us in the mouth the whole day. They punched us in the mouth the whole day and had a chance to win it if Steve McLaughlin doesn't miss a 51-yarder. I mean, it happens. It truly happens. You're walking around South Florida, and everybody's telling you how great you are. And, you lose that little sense of, oh, man, we're going to kill these guys. Who we play next? And all of a sudden you get out there and you get punched in the nose. Yeah. And you're like, oh, snap. Rusty Medeiros goes down. Then there breaks this man's leg off. And we're looking at it like, what the hell? I mean, we're all shocked. Like, who are these guys? I mean, didn't we just blow them out in Arizona the year before the game? I stopped on the goal line, put the ball over. It's easy. Now we're a better team. We're better. We're ranked higher now, and they're not even ranked, and they're almost kicking our ass.
Yeah,
it happens, man. So much stuff goes into it now. unfortunately, with the NIL, these guys all have money. I'm not in their pockets, but I guarantee you they ain't doing the same stuff we were doing.
I was watching Deion Sanders today giving a speech about that very subject to his team that he didn't feel is playing up to snuff. Yeah. And, he was being very demonstrative. He had a wad of bills and he had players, and it's like, I'm giving you this, and then I'm giving you this. And how are you responding to that? He's so it's a challenge that a lot of coaches around the country are facing.
It is truly a challenge, this whole NIL thing. You build a team, and remember, you're building, these are young kids. These are not adults that are in the NFL. These are young guys who are getting money, lots of money for the first time in their lives. Not saying they weren't in the NFL, but in the NFL, you might have a guy else on your team, you're 13, you're 10, you're 8.
Yeah.
These all young guys coming together, and you're trying to build these guys and make them think because they're professional, pretty much. And you're trying to run it and structure it. That's why they're hiring GMs. That's why they got all these people on your staff to try to. There's a lot that goes into it. But on the flip side of it, this is what college football is. And you have to be able to manage from week to week. You have to say, texting Mario today, beat Stanford, as he said to me. That's the most important thing. You can't look ahead, and your team has to understand you cannot look ahead. You can't worry about, unfortunately, you can't worry about the Heisman Trophy. You can't worry about being a star. There's nothing you can worry about except the whole thing of getting us better as a team and as a whole, that we can go out there and win ball games. And you know what? Unfortunately, you got to win. Like, you got to beat Stanford's ass. That's the way I look at it. You have to come out there and play with some type of intensity and try to put it to Stanford, a team that's not going to make a lot of mistakes. They're going to be in the right place at the right time. They're well coached by Frank Reich. But you have to be, you have to put together a game plan on both sides of the football to try to demolish them. Try to beat them. I mean, Florida State
got to get that momentum back, that confidence back, because you got a monster game the next week that you're going to really have to be ready.
Hey, the monster game is Stanford.
Right.
That's what you got to say the monster game is, Gary. You cannot say next week. You
can't be thinking ahead to SMU.
Because guess what? You can't slip up no more.
No.
Your slip-ups are gone. Like, I was thinking, okay, man, hey, man, I want to go undefeated. Okay, yeah. But if we do slip up against Pitt, okay, cool. All right, cool. We got time. We got time, It's later on, but now you've slipped up against a Louisville team, and now
you used your mulligan.
You've used your mulligan, and so, man, I mean, you got to tear it up every week, man. And these guys, these young gentlemen, these young adults have to understand, if you want all this fame that goes along with being the U is back, you got to come through.
Yeah.
And it has to start by doing whatever you need to do to do that. And that is putting the time in. And I'm not saying they have it, but you got to work extra hard now, because you can't afford to have another loss.
Yeah. All right. We're going to be joined by Steve Walsh here in a moment and talk a lot of quarterbacks and other things. But first, let's hear from our friends at CaneSport.
Welcome to CaneSport. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, CaneSport has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. CaneSport, the spot Miami fans shop.
All right, LT, you're sitting in the store here. Let me go. I'm gonna go wide shot for you here.
Okay.
And let you show us some of that.
Some of these goodies right here. Oh yeah,
I gotta get it.
Right. It's military appreciation right here, and the short sleeve. They call this the Jason Taylor look right here. You know what I mean? You slip into one of these, your wife might fall in love with you again, boy. You come in here and get you one of these Jason Taylor type shirts right here. They got the military appreciation hats and the jerseys. Now, the question I have, Gary, Are we wearing this? I mean, Adidas putting it out. Are we wearing this?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard for sure, but I mean, I can't imagine that Adidas made all that whole line of stuff for it not to be rolled out in one of these next few games.
I mean, come on, man. I mean, there's some great gear here. Got the polo. I mean, it's a lot of great gear here. And guys, listen. If you're traveling in here and you're coming to a game, you straight down University, you run right into the stadium. So it's real easy. You just get on University and come on down here, and then you get you some. They got a lot of stuff in this little, but they didn't feed me tonight, so I ain't saying their names. And you can say their name, Gary. But you come on down here, and we got all this stuff. And if you like other sports, I mean, we got basketball, we got soccer,
Panthers.
in Miami. We got the Panthers, who won a great game, by the way, last night. Did you watch that game? You know,
Yeah.
I'm a hockey fan, but that was a good game. You got the Marlins. You got everything in here. You come on in here, you from out of town, you one-stop shop, South Florida sports. You might have moved away, but come on through it. And then once you leave, you just hit University.
Yeah,
Only up
15
there.
minutes right to
15
the
minutes.
stadium.
You're going to pass by Hooters. Well,
They're at 2655 South University Drive in Davie. If you can't make it to the store, you can see CaneSwear at caneswear.com. Like Lamar said, they have a little bit of everything, jerseys, T-shirts, hats, polo, socks, magnets,
Stuff for your dogs.
flags, sizes for men, women,
Shoes.
kids, babies, pets,
Tags.
anything you need with a U logo on it, they have it. They have it at CaneSwear. The only thing I don't know, Lamar, is do they have a Steve Walsh nostalgic jersey?
Steve Walsh. Let's see if they got.
I want a Steve Walsh nostalgic jersey. That's what I want.
I know they got one of them old throwback Miami jackets up there. I know Steve used to wear that. I remember that. I remember when I was a freshman, seeing the great Steve Walsh. I was like, man, that's Steve Walsh. I know him.
And there he is, Mr. Touchdown. What's up, Steve? Welcome to the Lamar Thomas Show.
Yeah. Well, it's good because I have not been able to hear Lamar here, so this could be the greatest interview ever.
Oh, wow.
You know,
Can you hear me now?
Lamar. So,
can you hear me
Gary,
now?
you may have to translate. So,
Wait, you're not hearing Lamar right now?
I'm not hearing Lamar.
Oh my goodness, what is going on? Okay,
How's that
Gary.
possible?
I had him earlier.
This is a new one. This is something new we have not
Sure
experienced.
what's going on?
We have not. Well, Gary,
Well,
it's gonna be on you then.
all right. I don't understand how that's happening. It doesn't make any sense. But Steve, welcome. Great to see you again. And it's really a great week to have you on the show because of the way that Friday night's game against Louisville played out, and a lot of challenges for Carson Beck in that game. And Louisville clearly schemed things up a little bit, and we're testing him in a lot of ways. And he had the interceptions. He was missing his checkdowns, and just had a complete night of struggle. So I'm assuming you saw the game. And
I was there.
Yeah. Just your thoughts on what you witnessed on Friday night.
Well, I mean, coming into the season, I had only seen Carson really kind of when he was injured at Georgia. I hadn't really paid much attention to him before he got to Miami. And my takeaway from the game, which was really maybe the second or third I've watched relatively closely, is, giving him opportunities to throw the ball downfield. And, he did have the 2 interceptions. One, I thought was a decent, it's a 50-50 ball on a post route. I felt like the receiver got grabbed, that they didn't call it, but it was a pick. But, on those, 40-yard, 50-yard type, change of possession, turnovers, you can kind of live with. The other one down the sideline, kind of similar deal, 50-50 ball. They made a play, we didn't. Made a nice throw on an inside slot fade. That was his best throw of the night. But then, a lot of throws behind the line of scrimmage, and then Louisville just really started shutting those down and really attacking that receiver. And so, you'd like to see maybe him throw the ball down the field, but I know how it is as a play caller. If you're not seeing it in practice, you don't feel real confident in the game. And Miami was punched in the mouth, if you will, on the two first two drives, and had put some pressure on all phases of Miami's team, and then they responded and obviously had the big drive to get some momentum back. But overall, you'd like to see him throw the ball. I mean, I knew he wasn't going to be the same player as Cam. Cam obviously extremely talented. He was the number 1 overall pick. Nobody projected Carson to be that guy. But this is a super big week for him as the leader of that offense, and you're naturally anointed the leader as a quarterback. But there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on him, and a lot of them are coming from inside that huddle. And all right, dude, big money. It's part of the NIL. You're a big money guy. Let's go. You got to step up, and I'm hoping and hopeful that he will, and kind of pull us out of this slight tailspin and bounce back. And hey, Louisville's a good player, or a good team with good players. And talking to Lamar on the sideline, he was concerned. And Brahms a good play caller, and obviously a talented coach, and he's done well at a lot of the places he's been, from Western Kentucky to Purdue to back to Louisville where he played. So did you mention Frank Reich? Is he the coach? I didn't even know he's the coach.
He's the coach of Stanford now.
That's awesome. I'm scared now.
Yeah.
Because another great play caller and good offensive mind. So that could be another challenge for our defense.
Hey, Steve, Gary, can you hear me, Steve?
I can hear you. Can Steve?
Okay, so
you hear Lamar now?
Hear him, Lamar.
Okay,
no,
so
I cannot hear
Steve,
Lamar.
speaking of Cam, what's it like to replace a guy like you had for Beck right now, because he had to replace Cam and he had to replace Vinny Testaverde?
Yeah, you had to replace Vinny when you played. What was it like for Carson Beck to have to now replace Cam Ward, who goes number 1 in the draft?
Well, I think it's a challenge. There was enough turnover with the receivers, though. So, he didn't necessarily have to deal with that aspect of it. You kind of grow together with young receivers that are trying to, take their shot or get their shot now. So I think that's helpful. But, obviously the fans know the type of season that he had. I mean, he broke my touchdown record, damn it. Anyways, I think there is a lot of pressure, and listen, the money part, which kids didn't necessarily have to deal with, that's a factor now. And, some deal with it really well, and some maybe struggle with it. And, there's, like I said, there's going to be a lot of eyes on him and see how he handles this. And is he going to bounce back as a leader and somebody that's going to produce for the offense?
Put yourself in Shannon Dawson's shoes for us here for a minute. He's got to bring Carson Beck back. Okay. I mean, people are talking about, bring in Luke Nickel, the freshman. Like, no, come on, that's not happening. You brought Carson Beck here to be the quarterback. You're paying him upwards of $75,000 a quarter to be your quarterback this year. And it's Carson Beck or bust. Okay. Carson's got to get his act together. That was a mulligan, but you're Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator. How do you manage that, Steve? Like, how do you bring a quarterback back from a game like that?
Well, I think you go through your game plan and you listen, you ask some, curious questions. I'm talking about Shannon, and I'm sure he does this, right? He's a great coordinator. But hey, what do you want in these situations? Is it progression reads? Is it half field reads? What are you seeing, throughout the game? All these things that you try to evaluate and find out what is he really comfortable with. I mean, yes, he didn't go through much of spring ball from what I understand. Fall practice is not as many reps as it used to be, obviously with the limitations on 2-a-days. So you still have a play caller understanding what does this quarterback really respond to when he's just thrown 2 interceptions or he's thrown 3 interceptions and he's not looking good. And, he's agitated or whatever happens on a sideline when you're going through a game. So I think you got to ask those questions and find out what does he really want on 3rd and 6? What does he really want on an opener, first and 10, first play of the drive, and so that you can now get him comfortable and get him going and get him in a rhythm so that he can go out and be effective for you. Because listen, they've invested too much. They're not gonna, I don't even know who the backup is, but they don't want to see him. They want to ride this kid. And that's why I said there's a lot of eyes on him, because if he goes down, then I'm a little concerned about the entire ship for the season, at least.
Gary, tell Steve this. Translate for me.
I'm Lamar's translator, Steve.
This is weird. This is weird.
We have no idea why you can't hear him.
Tell him I don't ever remember him having a 4 interception game. And how do you come back from that mentally, man? Being the leader, because everybody's going to follow you.
LT says you never had a 4 interception game. You were Mr. Touchdown. You didn't throw 4 interceptions in a game. What kind of how does that play with his head, and how does he respond from that?
Well, as a quarterback, you can go through bad throws. You have a guy open, you miss him. Okay, so now it's 3rd and 10. Now you better get your mind back in it. You have about 3 seconds to be pissed off at yourself, and then it's next play. And you better find some positive thoughts in those 3 seconds. Same at the end of the drive. Hey, I miss a guy on 3rd down. We punt. I got to go over there and I got to, look at video or look at pictures and talk to the coordinator, and, you feel you're pissed off for a little bit longer, but you got to then turn on, okay, how are we going to go out and make plays? And so it is probably the most difficult thing for a quarterback to be able to be positive when he knows he's playing horseshit.
When everything's negative.
And fans are booing you. I think back to a pro game, and it was I got traded to the Saints, and I kind of didn't really know the entire offense to be able to navigate the rest of the 10 or 12 games that we had left in the season. And I'd throw a completion, the fans would cheer. I'd throw incompletion, they'd boo. And it was just up and down. And it ended up being like a 10-play drive, and we scored a touchdown, and they cheered. And I kind of said to myself, go F yourself, fans. It was just, so you have to be mentally tough. And, obviously the physical part, I don't, doubt that for the kid, but you got to be mentally tough in that position, because the bottom line is your position is about making decisions. And if you make good ones, things are probably going to go your way, right? You might have a drop or a broke down in protection or whatever. But if you make bad decisions, there's no recovering from that. You're losing the game, or you're punting, or you're throwing a pick. And those are the game killers that happen with bad decisions.
So he comes to Miami for one real reason, and that's to try to improve his stock with the National Football League. And I don't think that there's any secret there. And now he gets into the season, and Miami's winning, and now they're talking Heisman Trophy, and that's in his head. And it looked to me like he was playing a little bit hero ball the other night, and maybe just trying to go deep down the field when it wasn't there. And do you think that plays into it at all during the course of the game?
No, not during the course of the game. It does play into it as you prep and you go through the week, and you're like, all right, whether you're putting more pressure, hey, I got to go out and have a 4-touchdown night. This is a Friday night game. A lot of eyes are going to be on it. A lot of Heisman voters, are going to be watching. And, it'd be great to, have that Heisman moment where I become the front runner. Well, he did the opposite. And so now put that out of your frame of mind. And all right, now how am I going to get this team into the college playoff, into the ACC championship game, where you can have a chance to highlight your skills if that's what you're auditioning for. And again, with the lack of throwing the ball downfield, and again, a couple picks and things like that, that's going to kind of affect the play calling. But you'd like to see that a little bit more. And if he does that, there's still a chance. And, I don't know, there's who's going to be out there, but, obviously they want, the NFL, you got to be mentally even more tough to play at that level. And you got to be able to make all the throws.
Yeah. Question, translator. I have another question for him. As a coach and as a quarterback, how do you feel about screens and bubbles? Because you called me one time when I was coaching and asked me my opinion about them.
How do you feel about bubble screens as a quarterback sitting here with a receiver? And, Lamar and I have different opinions about it. What's your opinion on the bubble screen in football and how heavily used it is?
Well, there's a couple different screens that happen, and sometimes play callers, might say, okay, let me get him a completion, and let me throw a quick screen out there. The problem with that thinking is a lot of times those passes are thrown without the laces, meaning you catch it and you release, and they're out of your hand fast. The lineman might be, could be a tunnel screen or smoke screen or whatever with no lineman blocking. But sometimes that works against you because, you don't have the laces, it's a wet football or something. You could throw an ugly ball out there. And, that's happened. That's happened to everybody. It's happened to me, believe it or not, Mr. Touchdown. But sometimes that works against you. And, what I mean is from a progression read is if that's what he's comfortable, let me look at, the first read, the second read, and here comes the third read. And it's one side of the field or, give him something simple. I was around Andrew Luck and he said his 3 things that he wanted to do in every game is he wanted his first throw, he wanted a progression read. The second throw, he wanted to throw like a quick game. And then third, he wanted to get hit. He wanted to either run the ball or something where he, play action where he's going to take a shot or something. I don't, but it was like, what? You want to get hit? But he's like, that's how I get into the games. That's how I get my rhythm is when I get that first hit, I'm like, okay, I'm into it. So anyway, so that, there's a lot of ways, and that's up to Coach Dawson to figure it out. They're going to sink and swim with Carson, and they hopefully they can swim.
Hey, tell Steve that mention that.
I'm just going to eat while he talks because
he's the GM.
I'm taking a break from my construction, job here, Gary.
He's the GM of Stanford. Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck's the GM of Stanford, Lamar says.
Oh, that's right. Oh my God. I didn't even put I did know that, but I didn't put it together.
So why is the bubble screen so popular in football?
Because it gets the ball to your playmakers. Obviously they get it to Tony, and in space he can make people miss. The problem is if at that point of attack, if the DB is going all out, Lamar will tell you that's hard block to make, and they're not built to hold a block for 2 or 3 seconds, without getting a penalty.
Lamar was saying he doesn't want to do that.
No, and I mean that DB is, if they attack that lead blocker, there ends up getting to be no space. And then, I mean, I tell you one thing, I was impressed with our defense. When Louisville did that, how many times our defensive linemen made tackles? That is something I hadn't seen.
The retrace,
maybe in the last 5 years. Certainly last year was a little bit better, but our guys, those guys up front and our D line, man, they can run, and that's a sign of a good defensive. But as Louisville just said, all right, we're going to take this throw away and we're going to attack that blocker. It becomes not such a great looking play, but generally it's to get the ball in space to a playmaker who can make the first guy miss, and then you got 10 other guys chasing.
Yeah. All right. So we talked a little bit about play callers, and Jeff Brom, he coaches at Louisville. Not everybody understands how good of a football coach that he is. You could talk about, Lamar worked for Bobby Petrino, who's that type of offensive coach. You mentioned Frank Reich, who's now the head coach at Stanford, and these guys build reputations on being able to dial up plays. And as it pertains to the game Friday night, Brom had 2 weeks to and this is after an off season of obviously heavily focusing on everybody they play, including Miami. But now he's got 2 weeks to prepare for this game and put that game plan together. And he clearly made good use of those 2 weeks. I mean, he had the Miami defense on its heels from the beginning of the game. Bring us inside that process. What makes a guy like Jeff Brom better than a lot of his peers, and what's the process he's going through in those 2 weeks leading up to the Miami game, to where he's showing up on game day with a plan that is going to create a lot of problems for the defense?
Well, it's funny. I'm wearing I told you I'm doing some work on a house, so I'm wearing my CFL. This is the Ottawa Red Blacks hoodie, and Paul LaPolice, who was our head coach up there, he actually went to Purdue and spent a week with Jeff. And one of the things, and we didn't really see it in our game. I mean, they had the fake field goal, but that wasn't that big of a deal. But Jeff's got just a catalog of fake plays and trick plays. And, so we went down there. I didn't go, but Lapo went and he brought back about 5 trick plays. And, the one you see where the tight end sneaks out down the side, that's Jeff's play. Achilles. It's just been duplicated by every basically college and pro team where they fake a reverse, flip it back to the quarterback. He throws it down to a wide open tight end. Anyway, so creativity obviously is a great help. Jeff, and we were teammates with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he hurt his thumb and he went on IR, but Jeff's, played at a high level. He was coached by Howard Schnellenberger, so he's got certainly the basics of what makes for a good passing attack through Howard and his greatness. So then combining that, and then he's been around the college game enough, understanding what works in college that doesn't necessarily work in the NFL, and so he's just somebody that is proven over and over again that he can put numbers up. When he was at Western Kentucky, he had a great system, and he's got his brother. I believe his brother's still working with him, and they just got a good system. When you play Miami, of course, we had the new coordinator, so you don't always know. So you do need to have a few games, on film, which they were able to get, and obviously study. But it's just I think. They have a good system, kind of like Malzahn and Rhett Lashley had, where they could figure out, they could communicate with him and his brother, and what's the defense? Okay, great. What's our best play? And that shallow cross, just killed Miami last week on big key, and obviously the one touchdown was a shallow cross where they clear out and then they bring a receiver. That's usually a man-to-man play. And they flush the zone. They throw a 8-yard pass and the guy runs 30. It kind of sounds like my days with Michael Irvin, So anyways, but yeah, so that, I think creativity is one of the things that Jeff is really known for. But obviously he's a solid offensive mind, and one of the best in the college game right now.
What goes into the play calling on game day? You could put together that plan during the week and come ready, but at the end of the day, it becomes about dialing up the right plays at the right time. What's the secret sauce there?
Well, experience helps, knowing your team, when to, it's kind of like, not that I predicted that they would run a fake field goal, but in my mind on that first drive, I'm thinking, Jeff needs to he needs to land a haymaker. And if you kick a field goal after I don't know, I'm just guessing, but let's say it was an 8 or 9 play drive, 10 play drive, and you kick a field goal, defense feels like they won. Because now one big play on offense, we're leading the game. So, again, not that I predicted that, they're going to run a fake here, but I was like, okay, this just doesn't feel right to settle for a field goal. And, so obviously, things like that, knowing when to pull the trigger on a trick play and when to, come with a simple play on third down that we got a chance if we get the right call to get a first down, but if not, we'll punt. And it doesn't put his quarterbacks in harm's way. So a lot of those things are factored in, and obviously Jeff's been doing it for a long time and understands the quarterback mind, and there's a lot of value in that. When you play and you're playing under pressure and you're playing hurt, a lot of different things. There's a ton of value in having somebody in that position that's if you will, stared down the gun barrel, if that's politically correct to say anymore. This is a podcast, right? We're good.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah. How do you feel about where the Miami program is in general right now? Obviously, Mario's made steady progress since coming in. How do you feel just about the overall state of the program?
Well, I said a few years ago, Mario's an offensive lineman. And obviously our great offensive line coach is one of the best in the game. And I've seen him talk at these offensive line, the cool clinics, they call them, and he's just phenomenal. And so when you have a good offensive line and you're known for that, the defense is going to get better, the defensive line, because they're getting their ass kicked all spring.
Yeah.
So now the D line gets better. Now, when you have an offensive line and D line, okay, you got a good nucleus for a solid football team. You play good defense, you run the ball, you have a few explosive pass plays. You got a chance to be a 9 to 10 win season, consecutively. And so that's just something that I think is a good formula. It's kind of like Bill Parcells' formula was always you build from the inside out. Get me a center and a quarterback and a tailback and a middle linebacker, and we'll build out from there. And obviously the O-line is a great way, and obviously that's something that Mario's very proud of.
Hey,
so I think they're in a good situation. Obviously, having the resources now is important. Building a culture is important, and hopefully now Mario's had time to do that. Because, it's funny, I'm up in Minnesota and PJ Fleck, and you love him or hate him, but he's built a culture where kids will take less to stay. And, they're not necessarily a routine 10 wins type team, but hey, they go to bowl games and they do a good job.
Hey, ask Gary, ask Steve, what does he remember about young?
I kind of feel like I hear an echo
Lamar
of him,
Thomas.
but sorry.
Young Lamar Thomas.
My soup.
Wait, Lamar wants to know what you remember about a young Lamar Thomas.
Well, I remember Michael taking you around on your recruiting trip. I remember Coach Alexander, the receivers coach, later went to the Cowboys. But Axe was like, "Hey, Steve, this kid, Gainesville, right? I think he said, this kid's from Gainesville. He's a real deal now." And so I'm like, all right, great. But listen, I want to throw to guys that are going to help me win that night. So when Lamar lines up against Florida State to try to look all cute for the girls, and get your ass out of there, Lamar. That's his story, not mine. But anyways, no, he's, I remember Jimmy Johnson talking about this recruiting class, and Lamar, I believe it was yours. And he goes, "Steve, if we get all these guys," and I want to say, God, was like Darren Smith in that one. I'm trying to think, maybe another linebacker.
Michael Barrow.
Michael, yeah, Michael. But he's like, God, if we get these guys, this team is going to be stacked. And obviously it played out, right? You won, a couple of national championships over the next few years, after Jimmy left.
Yeah. All right, Steve, what do you tell us what you're doing these days? What are you up to?
So I work at the high school I went to. I do fundraising, and
wow.
I'd coached the last 3 years. I did not coach this year. And you know what? It's kind of been a nice little fall for me. It's kind of been a nice, quiet, peaceful. I don't know. I don't know if I'll go back to coaching or not, but I didn't miss it terribly. Obviously there's interaction with the kids are always fun. But anyways, working at the school, raise money for the school. But we're doing a construction project. We're renovating my parents' house, and so I snuck home to have a little dinner. And my wife's over there. So here's an example of our construction. she's tiling a bathroom and I'm putting door handles on.
Oh my
That's
God.
kind of how it's been. So, but anyways, but I'll be down there. I'm the honorary captain for Stanford. So
Oh,
look out,
wow. Okay.
I'm gonna try to call the coin toss, even though I'm gonna
All right. Well, we're looking forward to seeing you this weekend, and thank you so much for your insight tonight, and good luck with the door handles in the meantime.
No, we're past that. So, all right, guys, we'll see you.
Safe
LT,
travels,
hope we'll
safe
see you
travels.
this weekend.
Yes, sir. He's Steve Walsh, everybody, and great insight there into what Carson Beck might be thinking. And I don't understand why he couldn't hear you though, Lamar. That makes absolutely zero sense. There's nothing wrong with your audio.
I don't know either, man. It's we've come a million miles with this whole headphone thing. I went out and spent a lot of money on these damn.
No, but if I can hear you, he should have been able to hear you. There's no.
I'm supposed to be able to understand translation too with these things. So, hey, as I'm sitting there listening to you guys, I'm thinking about some things like Louisville. To me, didn't get beat by the checks at the side on the sideline. When Carson Beck went to check, they seemed like they were able to adjust out of calls. Like they changed it up. Like they were bringing pressure on one side, then they would check, and they would do something. They would drop, and they would do all kind of different things. It looked like at some point Dawson got a little discouraged from trying to throw down the field and just start throwing the quick screens.
The quick screens.
And it was all good until their DB just started bullying the hell out of our receivers. I mean,
yeah, I personally feel he overuses that play.
Yeah.
James Coley used to do the same thing, and I felt the same way then. I'm not a huge fan of that play. I mean, it hits sometimes, but it seems to me like it doesn't hit a lot more than it hits. And I'm a fan of the old school Miami way of
Hey, that quarterback, man, I thought he sucked coming into this game, Miller Moss.
Yeah.
Man, that check he made on 3rd and 11 where Mesidor and Bain were on the same side. He made the back move to that side and ran away from him, and I think Lightfoot ran up the field, and I think 31 took the wrong angle.
Yeah, the wrong angle.
And he checked that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I mean, hey, let me tell you something. At Louisville and at Western Kentucky, Bobby Petrino used to always, he said, if the defense is giving you a look in the tax, and you look at what they look like versus every front, don't just practice blocking plays. They're going to, and this is what they did, they're going to run the plays they like versus the front you give them. And that's what they were able to do. Yeah. They're going to, whatever front you give them, they got to answer for it. And they're going to run those plays, and they're going to run it to perfection. They ain't just running plays just to run them. Everything has an answer. And they're going to figure out their answer, and they're going to call it. So I want us as a football team to take this whipping. I mean, even though we threw in 4 interceptions, we still had a chance to win it or tie it. But I'm still calling it a whipping because it was at home. I want us to take this and be able to learn from it, not just players, coaches, everybody learn from it and understand that, hey, man, and even myself, we're not back yet. We're not back yet. Now, I got to give it to Mario. Over the last 20-some years, we ain't had this type of buzz in a long time. So he has gotten us to that point. Now, it should be continue to win, maybe getting us to the ACC championship. That has to be done at some point, or getting us into college football.
It's good. Yeah. I mean,
you got the buzz back. We had a Heisman Trophy candidate last year. We won a lot of games, a lot of buzz for UM. Now this year coming into undefeated, we got DJ Khaled out there running wind sprints. I mean, his fat ass, he need to lose weight. He needs to know about that hat line too. But hey, it's time for us to make that next move, that next step. And it has to be this year. It got to be this year. You start off too good. Okay, you slipped up against one good damn football team. I think Louisville is a lot better than what we thought.
Yeah, it was just a little scary because it was more than just a little slip up. Like it was a slip up in every area of the game. Like
it was a perfect night for them.
I mean, it was a 3-point game, but like there was not an area of the game where it wasn't a slip up from showing up ready to go, distractions, the wrinkles that they brought into the equation, not being ready for the special teams play. You just go on. It was just a really bad night, but in every department. And Mario's he's got a challenge here moving forward because obviously everybody that they play is going to see all that, and they're going to look to expose all those areas as well. And they've really just got to tighten up there, really tighten up. And I hope they're mad as hell. They're being disrespected like to crazy degrees. And I hope that provides fuel for them. But when I'm watching Deion Sanders talk to his team on the video this morning, and I'm watching him he's literally, Lamar, pleading with his guys, to become more passionate, more engaged, stop getting caught up in all the money we're paying you and get going soft
or not paying you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a good point too, because not everybody's making the same. But his insinuation was, I'm handing you guys money every week or every month or however they pay it. Yeah. And you guys are not responding well to that, and he just literally for 20 minutes was literally sitting there almost begging his players to turn it up a notch and play harder and play better. And it's a challenge, man. It's you look at Lamar, what's going on with these couple receivers that clearly aren't happy that they're not playing, but they're not playing for a reason. Kevin Beard and Shannon Dawson aren't trying to lose these football games. Or
the quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. How do you manage all of this today? It's difficult.
You can't get caught in your feelings, man. You cannot. I mean, you're making money, man. You can't get caught in your feelings. If you're embarrassed, work your ass off to get back in. That's the way I feel up there. You can't. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to get yelled at. That is part of, hey, I didn't like to be yelled at. So you know what I did, Gary? I just fucking worked harder. I hated being yelled at. I literally hated being, and I would be fucking so mad. So in order not to be yelled at, I just did what I had to do to be better, to get better, so I can get these off my back, these coaches, if they were on my back. And that's how it goes in today's kids. If you yell at them like that, I mean, they could not take a Garrett Stevens. I mean, Garrett Stevens had braces and he's cussing at you and shit is flying out and shit. And he was brutal. But they couldn't take it. These guys couldn't take it. I'm gone. I'm out. But that was what we knew, because we knew if we got through that and we did it right, he ain't yelling no more. Okay? But today's guys, they're a little soft, man. They don't take too well to criticism. I don't think and now the parents get involved and they don't take too well to criticism because they've never been. I mean, this is what the game has come to.
Agents,
yes. It's a
lot of layers.
It's a lot. I like this question that Cesar Iglesias has on here. Mark, what do you think the 01 Canes felt when they beat Virginia Tech and Boston College only by 3 points? Yes, it's a win, but it's the best team of all time. Just would like to know the mental side of it. Again, I played on some teams that won some championships, man. I played on a team that didn't win the championship. You're not going – that other team is going to play that's their Super Bowl when they play you. The number 2 ranked team in the country, every team on that schedule that ain't got nothing going for themselves, it's their Super Bowl. They're going to pull out every stop they can until you embarrass them. If you embarrass them, then they roll over. They lay on their side. But if you keep them in the game, they're running trick plays. They're doing all kind of stuff. They're going to do everything they can. And Boston College, that greatest team they call it, Hell, they only beat Boston College. They took a great interception, a Mike Rump missed interception that bounced off somebody, I don't know, and
Ed
Ed
Reed.
Reed picked it up. I mean, you look at the 87 team, 86, was it 86 team. One of the greatest teams that I had ever seen put together. They lost. You know, I mean, it's hard to run the table. That's why I love wearing this 13-0 ring or 12-0, whatever the hell it is, because it's pure perfection. I got 11-1 ring. I don't like wearing it. But to run, and in that 12-0 season, we had 1 or 2 challenges now. It wasn't, you have to be able to somehow dig as deep as you can, deep. Matt Walsh is right. Deep, and pull it out. But understand, that team, this is the feather in their cap to be able to bring down the U.
Yeah.
Or as those kids were thinking about doing, step on the U, in which it wasn't happening.
You weren't letting them do that.
No, I'm 55 years old, and I was willing to risk it all, goddammit. No, man, I protect that thing. I mean, we've all protected it. I mean, I asked my sister who played basketball at University of Miami, Jessica Thomas, they had a U in their locker room. Did people step on it? No. You don't step on the U. So how are we going to let somebody come in here and step on our U? You're not going to do it. So y'all got to walk. You go, like I told their coach, you go down there and get your little funky ass trophy, your little boots and shit. Go on down there. Go ahead. But you ain't stepping on it. You tell them, boy, they ain't stepping on this U. Me and
Ellenberger trophy.
Me and Baez was standing there, and with a whole big bunch of workers from the stadium, we surrounded that thing. You ain't gonna come and step on that U, dog. You won the game.
Keep going.
But you ain't gonna step on this damn U, because you know you messing up the Dolphin Stadium too. So we got them involved. But you ain't, and there was some big fellas. Some big fellas. I was willing to whisk it off from a school now. But hey man, kudos, congratulations. And that coach, one of the coaches saw me and say, yeah, you right, man. Go and get that trophy. And y'all sprint on back. But you ain't stepping on that U. You are not gonna do that.
Hey, let me ask you about a few more things here. You know, obviously the drag routes that Chris Bell was, and first of all, he was very impressive, right? Lamar,
like a Debo Samuel. That boy, bad boy.
He really is. Like he was the best player on the field the other night.
Yeah,
I mean, I have no problem saying that.
But I told you they're gonna move him around. You're not gonna get a beat on him, and I know this because we had Devontae Parker. You move your best guy around. You can't double. You can't. They're gonna move him around. All the plays are the same plays, different personnel, different formations. It's a that playbook, Gary, is like that thick. Like it is so much shit in that playbook, man. But it has something for every type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it so easy to be able to move your best player around because they got different formations. And I mean, you got to learn. It's a lot of verbiage. It's got a lot of verbiage, but you know, it's a beautiful offense when it works to perfection.
But they don't bring all of it into every game, right? He's picking and choosing each week.
Yeah. You basically in that book, you don't run every damn play. It's a lot of damn plays, but they build a game plan
right
during the week. And as coaches, we sit and we talk about the game plan. And one of the things I can tell you, they're not calling a play, Gary, that they don't see work in practice.
Right.
If Petrino, if it shit didn't work, it might have been the greatest play ever. But if a guy dropped it 1 or 2 times, it ain't being run, because what they want guys to understand is that they want, when we call the play, everybody to think positive. Not about, man, well, dude didn't catch it 2 times, so why are we calling it now? They want positive thoughts on every play. So whatever they're calling, it has worked in practice on the scout team, going against those scout guys. It has worked, because if it don't work and a guy drops it, they're pulling it out. It could be the greatest play ever, but they like success. When you leave that field on, was it Thursday? Perfect Thursday, I think is what it's called. When you leave that field, or Perfect Friday, I don't know. I can't remember no more. I'm
It would
old.
probably be
CT.
Thursday.
When you leave that field, it's perfect. You're positive.
So he's running those drag routes across the
Right.
field, and they were playing him in man coverage
Correct.
with OJ Frederick, and
Right.
I'm watching that, and I'm thinking to myself, OJ Frederick has no shot here.
No shot.
You know, for one, he's faster than OJ, clearly. For second, OJ is trying to chase him all the way across the field. Tell us what's the mechanism behind that play?
Well, on those plays, they kind of did him a solid by just bringing him across. They usually bring a guy where it becomes a mesh, and you mesh off of somebody because they'll bring a tight end. They'll run him straight up the field, and now you cut right off his ass. And if they know you're a man-to-man, it becomes a natural pick.
There was one play where I saw the receiver were actually that was Miami that did that. They slapped 5 to each other.
Right. Well, that's a real mesh concept across the field and air raid type offense mesh. But watching him, what they were able to do, what they should have been able to do. Frederick was so far off. They caught him on the drive route, first of all, where they blew out, like Steve said, they blew out the backside. And they were in man-to-man. So he had a guy running the post, and you got him running the dig, and they brought him all the way across. And because he was off, he's now in chase mode, and any other traffic he's running into. Then the second play, the one they scored on, there was a tight end. Everything was set up by the split. When you take a reduced split, they should have been yelling, alerting the guys on the other side, crossing routes are coming, or alerting the linebackers, crossing routes are coming. You're running tight, and if they don't go across the field, you know where they are. But no one alerted anybody. They kind of rubbed each other. That put Frederick behind chasing when he was up in the press type coverage. And once the kid turned upfield, everybody was in man-to-man. They were running down the field. And, when you're in man-to-man, you don't know what's going on. And we saw that from our guys a lot. We were in man-to-man. They're breaking runs, and they're running right behind our DBs. The DBs had no idea because they're covering their guy. And when they turn around and look, all of a sudden the back is there on the 20-yard run. So, you got to have better either go zone or you better communicate. You need to start yelling out the split. So the guy on the other side, let them know, reduce split. He's coming. Just let them know. And now your defensive checks, you can check to something different and figure it out. But I don't think it was any communication. Poor communication.
Right. Ian Killian heard me talking about the uneven performances. He says it's called life. Some days I have good days at work. Some days I have bad days. When you're dealing with people, it happens.
Yeah.
But LT.
Yeah,
I get it. We're all imperfect.
And you ain't in college football. You can't have no imperfect days.
No,
there's too much money involved, bro. These fans, I don't know how big of a fan you are. You can't have imperfect days, dog. We've had 20 years of imperfect days. And you put this team together, you got to win. And that's what they want to see. That's the unfortunate part about, if you live in South Florida, understand something. It's about winners. You know why people watching hockey right now? Because they won 2 in a row. I wouldn't be watching no goddamn hockey. I ain't no watching no hockey, but it's exciting and they winning. Okay?
Yeah, it's exciting, yeah.
I can't tell you last time I watched a Heat game or a Marlins game. Because they ain't winning.
I haven't watched the Marlins game in years.
Ain't nobody watching that shit. And the damn soccer, everybody go out to see that dude that got a lot of money. What's his name?
Messi,
yeah, and they were winning. But down here, you got to win. This ain't Louisville where they show up regardless. This ain't Lexington where they show up regardless. Western Kentucky, Bowling Green, they show up regardless. Hampton University, they show up regardless. This is a whole animal. You can't have bad days. I know what you're saying, dog, but you got a team together that, you might have a bad day, but it can't be worse by compounding it with a loss. And that's what we got to You can have a bad day and win by 2 points, win by 1 point. That's a bad day, but hey, you won.
Hey, I would argue the way the second halves of some of those games went, like those were bad days. I mean, you lose the fourth quarter in Tallahassee, 19-0, and you get outgained 177-15.
Hey, you know what I said on the PJ? The PJ, I'm feeling rich right now. The private jet. You know what I said, Gary? Hey, we won. That's because everybody was pissed off on that jet.
Yeah, but it caught up, Lamar.
It did catch up. It did.
I mean, now that we look back, those were warning. Yes. Those were warning shots.
Yeah, it was.
And all those second halves against Notre Dame and Florida and Florida State. I mean, where we didn't seal the deal the right way and all that. Those were warning signs of what we got.
What is Jennifer Miller talking about? Did you see a Louisville grandma hit a Miami fan? What? Hey, man, they get a little feisty up there in Kentucky. Get a little feisty up there. She said, what we got here?
Mayday. He's asking, Miami's favored by 30 in this game against Stanford. Have not scored more than 28 points the entire season, yet they're going into this game a 30-point favorite. Some people think that's a little too much. Stanford is supposedly going to be playing with their backup quarterback. I think they're anticipating that Miami's going to come into this game a little snarly.
Which they should. They should be right. I mean, they got an indoor. They should be practicing right now. I'm just joking. You can only practice so long, but guys should feel some way about losing that game, man. It shouldn't be go back to your room. I can't even say go back to your room no more. Go back to your penthouse or wherever you're living, and you should be mad. You should be upset about losing the game, especially what I always tell guys, the more you win, the more people are going to watch. The more you win, the more eyes are going to be on you. The more chances you have to make a play in a big time. You keep winning, you go to the playoffs. You go to the ACC championship. Who knows? You get something good comes out of winning. You get an opportunity to become a household name, not just down in South Florida, but nationally. I mean, what do you want? Is your goal to play in the NFL? Well, scouts are going to be watching it. The better the competition, the more they're going to watch. They're going to sit down. You make the college football playoff, all of a sudden they might see you. They might see you and say, man, I like that third corner, man. He's pretty good. Let's give him a free agent trial, or let's draft him in the 7th round. Because they saw you in a big game. They ain't watching no Bethune-Cookman game. I promise you that. That's why I pulled myself out of Long Beach State. I caught one damn pass and I said, I'm done. And I told Chad, I can't think of Chad's name, but he ended up playing for us. I said, Chad, here's the deal, man. I know you're from South Florida, and I know you'll get a great chip on your shoulder by DMing me up, but it ain't happening, bro. Because here's what's going to happen. He had the 2 kids that went to Florida. I can't think of his name. Chad Wilson. I said, I'm going to get 1 catch, and I'm going to pull myself out. Because guess what? The scouts ain't watching this game, and I'm not going to get hurt against a team as sorry as you guys are. And they end up canceling the program right after that year. So why am I going to play in a game like that? I don't need the stats. I mean, in hindsight, I should have probably stayed in, but hell, man. I'm trying to make it the bigger and better games that mean more. Then now you become more of a valuable player on your team when you're making plays. Nobody care you making a touchdown against Long Beach State, but you know what? They care when you making a touchdown against Florida State, or you making a great catch against Notre Dame. Your teammates say, oh, man, that boy can play, man. He all right.
Yeah.
Nobody talking about with the catch you made against Long Beach State. That shit ain't even on the internet. You know what I'm saying? I can't even find my first touchdown against San Jose State.
That's terrible. Nobody put that on YouTube?
Hell no, ain't nobody put that. And I think Gino had a big day that day. I'm gonna ask Gino.
There was no Twitter back then.
No, that's when they started calling me Leaping Lamar.
Lethal Lamar. Hey, what impact do you think the cut blocking that Louisville was doing the other night had on the game?
I think it had a lot to do. I mean, as far as it slows down those guys, hey man, nobody's been cutting them all year. Not that I saw. I ain't see nobody trying to cut. I've been down there. Maybe I missed it, but I ain't see nobody cutting them on a quick game. Because think about this, Gary. Those guys are trying to. They think they get into the league, and they gun ho. Nobody wants their knees touched. Not those D linemen. They don't want their knees touched, so they're gonna put that hand down, and now they might put one hand up, or they might. It depends on the cut. And those offensive linemen. If we go back and we watch the game on the quick game throws, they were all cut, all in unison. Boom, and they missed a lot. But you know what? You didn't see no D linemen jumping forward. They always jumping back.
Right.
And so what happens is those guys, man, it's like playing the old Georgia Tech. D linemen hate playing the old Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
The Army, the Navy. When I was coaching at Kentucky, the first series we lost 2 D linemen. It was a guy standing on the sideline. I said, "Hey, bro, you up?" He said, "No, I ain't up. I ain't going in there. I'm a red shirt this year. I ain't going in there," because he didn't want to get cut. So D linemen, they don't like to be cut, man. They don't like to be. I mean, that's one of the things. If you cut enough, now they have to worry about you getting off on that great jump, that pass rush, and you ain't. I mean, they popping them knees. So it is. The fact that they were able to do that. I think those guys are going to have to worry about it for the rest of the year. Now, maybe it's not in everybody's offense in the quick game, but it is a nice weapon to slow down pass rushers.
Mm-hmm. What about the tackling, LT? They had been tackling so well up to this point. Why do you think that went astray the other night?
I can say maybe they were rusty. I'm not sure, because this is the first game I hadn't seen a lot of guys get to the football and make a lot of game tackles. They took the wrong angles on a lot of plays. The linebackers for sure. And linebackers have been they played great this whole year. But Basaint, who I think I love him. He's a great player. He didn't have a great game.
No.
I don't think he had a great game. 41. They just didn't have it. They weren't there, and a lot of it might have been the D lineman not being in their proper place.
Right.
There was some bad fits.
And just the hesitation and confusion from the game plan.
Hesitation and confusion when you're that hole is yours, that gap is yours, but you hesitate. Now a guy's able to put a move on you and get all the way to the sideline.
Right.
No, it was not a great night for our guys. And, unfortunately, a lot of that, I think everybody's going to try to mimic it if they can. But I'm hoping that Coach, the defensive coordinator, he understands, and they work on the deficiencies that they have, and they get better. Now, I know he's talked about, the tackling drills and all that. I hadn't seen them tackle that bad the whole year.
No.
I mean, they played against Notre Dame, and it was like, man.
Great.
Man, tackling awesome. Florida, tackling Florida State for 3 quarters. Awesome. But I don't know, maybe it was, again, and I've been there, you going, you're playing Arizona, you're undefeated, you beat the shit out of them last year, and they come in, they punch you in the mouth. And now you got to you got to dig within. I mean, I dropped the pass that game. I had a guy beat by 4 yards. I was talking shit, and I dropped it. And it was on the front of the goddamn school newspaper. You know what the caption read, Gary?
What?
Butterfingers. I mean, I literally dropped it. That could have been something to put us over here. I mean, you just mentally, man, it's hard. And I tell young guys this all the time. You're not good enough to turn it on and turn it off. It has to be there. It has to stay there. You have to come into that game with it being on. You just can't go out there and say, oh, man, shit, if they get close, man, we'll turn that shit on. Well, guess what? You just gave them a bunch of confidence, dog. And they might, on paper, might be, you saw them and they got beat 9 times. A DB got beat 9 times. That bitch think he Deion Sanders out there.
Right.
That's how it happens.
I want to ask you about something else. Are they leaning, and I know he's been successful, and I know he's the talk, college football, the best freshmen, and all that. Are they leaning? I mean, Malachi Tony's just turned 18 years old.
Yeah.
He should still be in high school.
Yep.
And it seems to me like they're leaning on him a little too much at the expense of getting everybody else involved. And that's my concern from just the first half of the season is, I don't feel like enough guys are
involved. That's what I think. And that's what as I'm looking at all these comments, a lot of it is not about why these guys aren't playing. It's where are they? Why can't they help us? And a lot of it has to do with trust, man. You remember last year, they only played four receivers, right? They played Horton, number 11, number 3, and number 7. This year, they got Malachi, and he is doing well. And like you said, they are.
CJ's doing well.
CJ's doing well. Marion,
Marion's doing okay.
He's doing okay. But they are working. They are featuring this kid, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens when these teams decide we're going to take him away.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. He's a smaller guy. Like you start getting physical with him, knocking him off his routes.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? Scheming it up.
Who's going to step up when you take away your safety net? Who's going to step up? That's the question. That's why if I'm down there, if I'm the coach, I'm telling these other guys, hey, man, it should be you. But do you want it? Do you want it? Well, show me. Show me.
Yeah. Josh Moore, show me.
Show me.
JoJo Trader, show me.
Show me, dog. Come on, man. Show me.
Elijah Lofton, show me.
We don't want to hear all this talking. We don't need to hear all this from the outside. You right here, man up.
Jordan Lyle.
Build the trust back. Show us that you want it. And then we're gonna put you in. It's a long season. Will you be ready when you get your opportunity? Get out of your feelings. That's the hardest thing, man. As a coach, man, these kids getting their feelings, man, they can't get out of them.
Yeah, I'm feeling so stupid. Like I've been talking about Elijah Lofton all year. I mean, people jump on me. Oh, Gary, you said Elijah Lofton was a great player. Elijah Lofton is a great football player, man. Like there's nobody that would argue that, 2 months ago. Like he's a great football player. He pound for pound, any position on this football team is one of the better football players on this team. We're halfway through the season, LT. He ain't done a damn thing. And I've been saying, why isn't he involved? What's he doing? Then they need him the other night, and he runs the wrong damn route. Now I feel like an idiot.
Look at this smoothly abrasive. Let me tell you something. These coaches ain't trying to teach no lesson to save their face, man. They trying to win games, man.
Yeah.
Obviously, and I love some Josh Moore, man. I love that kid, man. I scouted him myself for Mario. I think the world of him. But obviously he's not doing something in practice, or he's not doing something that allows him not to be in it. He's too big of a talent. When I was at Louisville, we got a kid in from Texas A&M. He was a 5-star receiver. He transferred to us. And so here it is. He comes to me and say, hey, Coach, here's what I need you to do. I said, what you need? I need you to signal me my route. I said, I don't get it, dog. What you saying? I need you to say, this is what they did at Texas A&M, Coach. That's what they did in high school. I don't need to know the offense. You signal personally my route.
That's crazy.
Nah, man, you got to learn the offense, bro. He said, well, hey, man, ain't no way that Petrino brought me here. He ain't going to let me stand on the sideline. Shit. If he think you don't know the offense, he ain't putting you in, dog. We're not doing it. We have to go on guys we can trust. And you might be a hell of a talent. I had a kid at Western Kentucky. His go-to route, he didn't know not one play. But all he knew how to do is catch a fade in the end zone. Couldn't put him in. You don't think the other team know that shit? Bro, every time you get in the game, you run a fade. That's the only thing you run, bro. I can't put you in, dog. I'm sorry. Learn the offense. Help us out a little bit. Let's put you in at the 50 and have you run. So you can't. Come on, man. They were Austin something. I can't even think of his name, but guys have to really get in on what they need to do. Build confidence with your quarterback, your coach, your coordinator, and your head coach. Once you get those three things in there, I mean, it is what it is. And I see this is how crazy it is. Like you're saying, Sergeant Major, watch Bama come after Josh Moore. I mean, just like they did Horton.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, you can't even discipline guys. You can't even not put them in because now it opens the door for other people. It's like a marriage, man.
I know, man. It's crazy.
If your wife ain't giving it up, I mean, hey, some other woman at the workout, she trying to holler at you. Or if you ain't giving it to your wife, some dude's a plumber. He coming to plumber. He coming to plumb a little bit. I mean, you got to do what you're supposed to do because somebody else is coming to get you, and these kids know it. That's the thing that really upsets me. They know it. Yeah. So with that being said, they kind of hold you hostage a little bit. Oh, you can't talk to me like that.
And that's where you get this.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a little of this on this team right now.
I mean, they're talking about Horton got 5 TDs. Hey, man. I get
Nobody ever disputed the Horton was good. They offered him $700,000, and that wasn't enough.
He wanted more money, man. They just didn't feel like in their whole evaluation of him that he was worth that. So he went to I don't know if he got that or whatever, but hey, I'm proud. I'm happy for him. I like the kid, but that's today's game because guess what? Wow, a guy like, I'm not saying Joshua Moore, I'm not saying JoJo, I'm not saying Ray, none of these guys that aren't getting much playing time. Somebody's talking to them. You don't think we talking to people too? I mean, that's just the way the game is, man. It's like recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
If you're telling me I'm gonna wait the signing day, I'm not gonna be stuck with my finger stuck on my butt. I got to go get somebody just in case.
Yep.
And guess what? If he say, Coach, I'm all in, I'm gonna sign that bitch at 7:01. And you talking about signing at 8:10 in front of the audience? You lost, dog. On to the other school. Sorry about that. That's the way it is, man.
All right, LT, let's take it home with a little word association. Let me start with Stanford.
When I think of Stanford, first I have to say, and I'm trying to get in contact with him right now. A guy that when I was a freshman in high school, his name was Bernard Muir. He was a basketball player that had braces, very proper type black guy. And he signed a scholarship with I think of Brown or Cornell or something. I was like, I'm a freshman. I don't know no better. I said, hey, man, why you going to that school, man? They suck. He said, I'm going for the education. I said, well, good luck with that shit. He's now the athletic director at Stanford. And a hell of a guy. He's all recognized by a lot of people, a lot of ADs, and one of the tops in the country. And yeah, he's there. I can't wait to see him and just shoot the crap with him again about when we were in high school. And great guy. So that's what I think of Stanford. Second thing I think of is the damn that return. The band was in the way.
Oh, with the band, yeah.
Band. Yeah,
I
think of that. Those are the two things I think of when I think of Stanford now. But I can tell you this. They ain't got as much talent as we got.
No.
They don't.
But they do.
But they don't make mistakes.
But they do have another one of those play callers.
And they got the next name associated, the word associated, Frank Wright. Yeah.
Frank Wright. Yeah.
Yeah. And Andrew Luck's in the building.
Yeah. So they got some guys that know how to dial up offense.
And if you don't know who Frank Wright is, I mean, hell, we talk about that Orange Bowl. He pulled one of the biggest upsets. Well, I think they were down 31-0. Came back and beat Maryland.
Maryland when he was the Maryland quarterback.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And then he went on to the NFL and had one of the biggest comebacks, Buffalo, against Houston.
That's right. I remember that.
And I thank him for that because I probably would have been on the cover of Sports Illustrated getting stripped by George T. But because that game went on the same week,
Oh, it's the same
that
week?
was on the cover. So thank you. Thank you, Frank. I might shake his hand for that. But yeah, he's a great coach. He's a great play caller. So they're gonna come ready to rock and roll. They beat our other nemesis, Florida State. So they've already beat a team that had probably more talent. Okay. So in their mind, they just saw us lose to Louisville. So they're thinking, got a chance.
Right.
We got a chance. If we stump on them early, stand around, Frank calls some great plays, some dickery. We hit some of them. Fake kickoff, return, throwback.
Oh yeah.
All
No,
kind
they
of
just
stuff.
beat Florida State. They're looking at the fourth quarter. They're probably only showing them the fourth quarter.
They came to play against Florida State. So
Yeah.
you don't think they're going to, it's a long flight. It was home. They're going to fly over here. They probably going to come in on Thursday, maybe Friday. Yeah, I think they probably come in on Thursday to get acclimated a little bit. And, they're going to come ready to play. They're going to come ready to play. I really believe they're going to come ready to play.
Let me ask you about Carson Beck.
I had to call Booger McFarland to, Booger kept saying to me, because he's an ESPN guy in the SEC. So he's, the SEC Beck going to show up. He going to show up. I'm like, no, he's on a redemption tour. He ain't showing up. Interceptions are gone. We kind of cured that. We good. We calling good, smart plays, I had to apologize, say, hey, man, you was right. Okay, it showed up. But I don't believe that is him right now. I believe that it was a perfect storm for them. He didn't take what he has been doing the whole year, game managing. They did some different stuff. So I think he has to go back and let things slow down again and take what is given and let the athletes, the guy other than the quick screens, throw it out to the flat. Let your back loud. Let Fletcher, let them do what they do.
Get them out of that defense where they're just taking away the middle.
Yeah. And understand that when you check, they checking. So you can't be confused. You got to, that one time that they rushed 3 and dropped 8, he looked very confused. Like he wanted to run, but he knew he couldn't run. He knew he shouldn't run because he tried to run a couple of times and he couldn't run. So, I think Carson Beck is still the guy. I do. He had a bad game, but I really believe him and those guys have I called down, check out some things. Good week of practice so far. So, I think they understand that they got to go ahead and win out and play to the best of their abilities. And, it has to be within the game plan, and hopefully we have a great game plan.
And let's finish it off with Mario Cristobal.
Well, Mario, we talked about it earlier about what you've done, where we were before you took the job and what you've brought us. But I think he understands this. It's time to take another major step. He understands, hey, man, this has been great, man. This whole run of being undefeated national. We're back in the national spotlight. We got the dude jumping off the damn high dive and game day. All that's good stuff. We're back in the national prominence. But to take it to another level is the level we haven't been. We ain't been to the ACC championship in a long time. We need to get to the college football playoffs. So I think he understands that, this has been great, but it shouldn't be the ceiling. It has to continue to go, especially here in South Florida. So I know we were all around Green Tree together. He understands what it takes. And I'm hoping that he is putting forth the best, helping those kids put forth the best effort that we're going to see. And I'm pointing backwards to, and I want to say Joe Robbie, but it's Hard Rock out there on that field, which I try to protect the youth. So I'm hoping, and I think it's going to happen. I think we're going to see a team that has something to prove from hopefully from this point on.
Yeah. All right, LT. Well, we'll see what happens this weekend. We got to thank CaneSport once again for sponsoring the show. Give them a shout out on your way to the stadium. 2655 South University Drive in Davie. They got everything you could possibly need. Even if you need tailgate stuff, they'll bring some they'll sell you some tailgate stuff to go ahead and create a tailgate at the stadium. And you see in some of these cool shirts they've got this year, some different stuff. It's good for the Canes fan because how many of the same T-shirts and polos can you have? I mean, it's nice to have a little bit of variety. But we also got to thank Steve Walsh for stopping by, and we thank you guys for watching. And I think kickoffs at 7, I belive, on Saturday night against Stanford, and see everybody there at the stadium. And hopefully the Canes put a whooping on those Cardinals and just get a little bit of momentum going. I promised Lamar I wouldn't talk too much about the
Cardinals too. So we got 2 Cardinals in a row.
2 what? Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Are they Cardinals? Stanford Cardinals? Are they Cardinals?
Aren't they?
What are they? Oh, it's Cardinal. Louisville Cardinals and Louisville Stanford Cardinal.
Cardinal, okay. I thought my brain was malfunctioning for a minute.
And here's the thing. I know this, Gary. I know this. The difference between the Cardinal and the Cardinals is the Louisville Cardinal has teeth.
Okay, there you go.
There you go.
But hopefully the Canes get it together and build some momentum. I promised Lamar I wouldn't talk too much about SMU tonight. We are in 1 game at a time mode.
1 game at a time.
1-0, baby. 1-0.
Cardinal.
Let's get this season back on the rails this week, and then we'll get ready next week. We'll be back next Wednesday night to talk about it. So for Lamar, I'm Gary. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next time.
Go Canes, baby.